Hello and welcome to this cast game on Two Lakes Duel. We've got average Blob Enjoyer playing 5th Panzer. He's played this div over 300 times now. He literally only plays 5th Panzer. I'm just searching up an image from average Blob Enjoyer where here we go. He says rate my top 5 divs, and these are his top 5 divs. So he's played 5th Panzerdivision 373 times. Literally only plays 5th Panzerdivision. Yeah, they're broken, so he's playing them. And he's up against Suojeluskunta, who only plays Berlin Command. Berlin Command really not a meta division. He plays them because he's broken. So, looking at the map here, there is a good side and a bad side on this map. Of course, the deforestation made it worse as well. So basically, if you're on the red side, you got an advantage because pushing into Lima is a lot easier than pushing into Alpha, and red forward deployed units can land in Oscar and Zulu, whereas the blue ones would get their second to both locations. So looking at the deployments, we got average Blob Enjoyer sending some Milan 2s into Lima, a CV and 2 Jaeger with Panzerfausts, and 1 recon to the grain silo because farmers can see further than atheists. So this is how far an atheist can see. This is how far a farmer can see. Similarly, the church here, religious people can see further than atheists. You see how far the Christian man sees here, whereas the atheist next door doesn't see so far there. And yeah, just one looks just to make sure nobody comes down this road, I guess. On the right, we've got the blob. So, you know, he is a blob enjoyer. He likes blobbing. So he brings his stuff in. I can't say the word because YouTube keeps demonetizing me. He brings his stuff in these Milan transports here, wheeled Milan transports, so that he can put the Milan transports in the blob. So he's got the CV going to Papa, and then 2 Pioneer Flam and 2 Pioneer Armburst going to Oscar, backed up by 2 Leopard 1A1s, a Gepard, and 2 Roland 3s. So he really doesn't like air hitting the blob, so he buys a lot of air early. He basically does the exact same thing every game. It's his copy of the game. He can play it how he wants. On the flip side, we got Suojeluskunta playing Berlin Command. And so he's sending 2 Foxes down here to Zulu, just to make sure nobody comes down that road, I guess. And they can also shoot down this road, so that's interesting. Backed up by a Milan 1, which is actually going all the way back here, which is interesting. I guess he's worried about people coming around the sides. And 2 Berlin light rifles with recoilless rifles. So I believe these guys got a little bit cheaper because the recoilless rifles had their range nerfed, which allows the cost of the squads to come down a little bit. Because they used to fire 1,400 meters, now they only fire 1,000 meters. But yeah, they can attack vehicles and ground units. Their accuracy ain't great, but the point is that, you know, this is a fire support weapon that there's no equivalent in the game like this. So it can shoot at things 1,000 meters away. Whereas, you know, if these guys wanted that, they'd have to bring an M40A1 recoilless rifle team, which could shoot a bit further, but it's only a 3-man squad or a 2-man squad. So this is really an unparalleled unit, and that's why Berlin Command is cool, because they get these guys. Of course, now with the addition of the 35th US Infantry, there's another division that gets loads of M67s. So Berlin Rifles regular over here, and a CV. So he's just put those there because of the Lore 80. I guess he's worried about people coming down this road quite a bit because he's got the Milan 1 there as well. And then on the left, yeah, we got a sniper going over here. He knows that the enemy don't have any airborne forward deployed, so he's probably confident that he can get to there. Sniper with its good stealth is really hard to spot, and it gives a really great vision here because they took some more of the trees out here, so it's even more difficult to get into that zone. The PSCB, they get recon forward deployed, so Jäger Aufklärer can match this in terms of their forward deployedness, but average Blob Enjoyer has decided to only bring 1 and just rely on the blob. So the B team are going to get there. He should put them in the church, but I can understand putting them here because they can shoot their rockets at, you know, stuff coming down here. But I would like it in the church. And then 2 Foxes actually just going straight down the road, which can be deleterious if the enemy does put a Jäger Aufklärer in there, but he's opted not to. Then he's got a CV going X-ray Oscar, and the main the main, I want to say nugget, but that's really not the core part, of the cornerstone of the push. It'll come to me. The cornerstone of the push: 2 reservist infantry, 25 points, 10 strength, machine gun, security, so they get good stealth when they're stood still. 2 stingers unloading here, and 3 recoilless rifles going in here, and 1 Law 80 in case somebody sends something heavy down there. So that's his deployment, and because these imp squads are quite expensive, you see that it's all imp squads. So we'll cast the game and we'll do it from this perspective. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. At the tier 2 and tier 3 levels, they get their games cast at a rate of 1 a month. So if you beat a famous player, and yeah, there's a problem with this game where sometimes fast path stuff just suddenly goes off the road. Even though you tell them to fast path, they just go off the road there. They haven't fixed that yet. Yeah, they get members exclusive videos. Thanks for bankrolling me. Basically, I never thought there'd be much of a market in this. I originally started this channel properly, like in earnest, because somebody stopped casting my games because he disagreed with my political opinion. And so he stopped casting my tournament games. So I was like, fine, I'll do it myself. And since then, the reception's just been wonderful. I mean, we've been coming on in leaps and bounds. I'm at like 7,500 subscribers. And, thank you so much. Like I said, I originally started this off as a vendetta. And it's great to see how far we've come. So the Foxes are going straight to Papa, which is pretty interesting. The Leopard 1s don't have max range guns, but the Milans, of course, can sort that out. But you see he's fast-moving them. It will break LOS, so it's going to survive those Milan shots. And this guy... what? They still have recon somehow. But, I don't know, they're missing. So he smokes, which he didn't have to do. This guy does have a Carl Gustav, so he's got to be careful there. And Red has taken the town, and this is sort of what we were talking about. So Red does get there first. I said with airborne forward deployed. The Leopards are trying to catch up. They do have decent stabilizers. Mega Waffle 1 purchased here, which is that's a 1 minute's income just on the Mega Waffle 1. Fox is still going. Mega Waffle's in the game here. It's going to get some kills. Ooh, gets through two and a bit kills there, but it goes down to the double stinger. So that's just your air RNG, 55% accuracy, hits twice, kills. That Fox did not make it, but he's managed to slow down the Pioneer Fuhrer. Thing is, it was pretty risky. I mean, I would have preferred to like send it back here maybe, but I can understand why he did it. Send one down here and send the other one back. But hindsight's 2020. This guy's probably going to go down. The other problem with infantry is that when their cohesion goes down, they start moving really slow, which means you can't really retreat them. Also, if you don't retreat them, then they they definitely don't make it. And average Blob Enjoyer could take advantage of the fact that there's not much here. But he's not doing that. He's just defending. And now it's being reinforced by Suojeluskunta. 3 more recoilless rifles purchased. And some regular Berlin rifles. And Blob Enjoyer, he just bought too much AA. Like, this is many points. Like, 350 points, which is just doing nothing. Because there are no planes. So he really overinvested in the AA there. And Suojeluskunta, he's just cleaning up. Like, these Leopards aren't in good spots either. He could have them back here, maybe. But he is actually going to get the CV in, which is pretty embarrassing from for Suojeluskunta that he let that happen. But he can obviously go deal with that. And Blob Enjoyer, he spent another minute's income on another waffle. But if this gets 3 kills there are 4 guys there. Oh, it gets all 4. It gets all 4, but it goes down again. The Stingers now are at 3 vet because they're being up-vetted by the CV and they're getting kills. So you see that the accuracy is now 70%. So these guys are really scary, whereas before, it was 55%. But after they killed that first one, it was getting higher. P4 PCs up vetting them, all this. Reinforcements have arrived. So Suojeluskunta buying, Blob Enjoyer buying 4 supply. Just really panicking here. Like I said, he's played the same division, 397 times. But apparently there are still things that can surprise him. The recoilless rifles will try and do a number on this. Gets that one somehow. This Milan 1 is out of rounds, and the sniper doesn't have AT. So he's just going to drive this in and start bullying them. It's got an MG3, and these guys can't fight back, so that's really powerful. Mirage Seed out here, but he's going to use it for the bombers. But if you drop the bombs, it doesn't drop the seed. Down it goes to the Mega Arty there. Sorry, Mega AA. Just so much AA there. So the AA's been revealed now, and that wasn't really worth it. That really wasn't worth it, but he probably didn't know that there was so much AA there because it hadn't fired yet. He does need to do something about this. He could move this Hell Arm over, but he's opted to buy another one. You see, the MG3s are just way worse than 50 cals, for example, but the Leopard 1A1s are helping out, and there's only 4 HP there. Losing a supply there is not grand at all. And once the Berlin, so that the idea behind the Berlin rifle's recoilless rifle is that you've got to keep them supplied all the time, because the whole point of this squad is very expensive for what it is. The whole point of it is the recoilless rifle, so you need to constantly keep these supplied, so that as soon as they run out of rifles, you need to move them back and supply them. And it's a reasonably difficult micro to pull off. But Suojeluskunta literally only plays one div, so he's had plenty of time to practice. And now these Milans will clear this up. I think buying 2 was a mistake, because he's already got one here, and he knows about all the AA. He saw the Gepard and the Roland shoot, and this is going to explode. Down it goes. Roland deals 6 damage, and these have 6 HP. So yeah, buying 2 was a bit overkill. The Fugs smokes the wrong way and gets blown up. You see the LOS tool's just an approximation. This don't fix that. So you see from this perspective you can see it, but from this you can't. Which in reality both can see each other, but it's just the LOS tool approximates. You can see, do you see how it's like jagged over here? And over here, do you see that? It's like jagged. It's because it's only calculating it every couple degrees. Whereas they could fix this by decreasing the increment, but that would decrease performance. If any of you played the Broken Arrow open beta back in February or whatever, you'll know what I'm on about. Like, every time you launch their LOS tool, which was far more precise, the game lagged. So now we see 4 mortars purchased, and this is just a real panic moment from the 5 Panzer player. I mean, you would assume that he would have this pretty much nailed down. He would know exactly what to do. Like, you want to be buying Lars here, not 4 mortars. But 4 mortars it is. And you see the power of the recoilless rifles. They can really reach out in a way that no other big infantry unit in the game can. Can really reach out there. You see, they're just hitting people just on the edge of their range. They're blowing up all that supply that was purchased. And just an overinvestment in artillery here. And all this time, Suojeluskunta just backing it up. More Milans. Humvee toes out now. It's just looking worse and worse for the 5th Panzer player. He never really got his boots off the ground. He opened with, 4 infantry squads, whatever, no forward deployment on this side. And the lack of forward deployment on this side really scuppered him. And then he spent 2 minutes in combined planes, which was also a mistake. And all that time, it's... Okay, it does get the Milan team there. All that time, the enemy was just buying recoilless rifles, buying Milan 2. So some really poor purchases from Blob Enjoyer, but he can still bring it back. You see the artillery is taking out the Milan 2s here. A bit of an overkill, and then next he's going to have to destroy these buildings, and he's just going to buy some more infantry. 5th Panzer, really broken div. Just gets a lot of everything, and it's got really good slot availability as well. But you see that whenever he tries to move forwards, the recoilless rifles start hitting him. So he's using mortars in the place of Lars. I really would have liked 2 Lars here. But yeah, you see that these guys are getting smacked around a bit. Humvee Tote has missed twice now. But now this one's in range. And the Hell Arm's being brought over. He knows about the AA, so he's trying to put it a bit more over here. And... yeah, Blob Enjoyer did have a force advantage here, but now he doesn't, so now pushing in here is basically going to be impossible. And you'll note that Suojeluskunta, he's bringing the Milan 1s. And I don't know if he's got Milan 2s in the deck as well. Oh, see, down the Hell Arm goes. I mean, these Roland 3s, they've got a very good anti-helo range, 3,000 meters, so you got to be very careful. But yeah, he's just getting a little bit greedy there. So the mortars, 120mm mortars do damage. The main annoyance of them is that they stop you from repairing because they just like deal like 0.1 damage or whatever. But you see that the shells basically land right next to them, do nothing. You got to basically get a direct impact with artillery if you want to hurt anybody. That's a problem that's been in the game basically the entire time the game's been out. The way area attacks work in this game is very odd. So. Still haven't fixed that one. So that's why something like the Lars is a bit better. You get a lot more shots on target. But if the mortars are allowed to... So he sold all the transports, which means that if Suojeluskunta buys an arty piece, which he has now done, he's got 2, he can just counter battery all of these and kill them. Because they've only got 2 HP, he's just 2 guys with a mortar. And he sold the transports, so he can't even relocate them. And he's just got them queued up, firing constantly, not moving. So it should be very easy to counter battery these. This is the same gun that this guy's got over here, except these are not vetted, and this is. He's actually brought it vetted. I mean, MX-30B is like, so he's using that to try and shoot the Lux. This is an anti-infantry tank, basically, because it's got, the gun is really quite weak, but it's got an autocannon, and it's very cheap compared to most tanks. But yeah, these are cheap as well, but you see the gun is much better. But they don't have an autocannon. So, difficult to attack this town. Difficult to attack any town. But I'm just really surprised that Suojeluskunta's not taking advantage of the church. He should really have at least a recon unit in here. The problem with putting a Milan in there is that as soon as it fires, the arty blows up the church. Whereas if you have a recon there, generally the enemy seems to forget about it. Here we go, counter battery coming in. Pop. Scratch 1. And he's just going to keep doing that. And he sold his transport as well, which is a big mistake. You shouldn't be selling these transports, guys, because you open to counter battery. We see 2 mortars dead now. And yeah, Berlin Command with the Polizei Reserve. This is a very spammy unit. It's got reservists, but it's 10 strength for 25 points. And you see Blob Enjoyer is swapped to smoking off the ATGM so he can get his tanks in. Very focused on the Blob, but Leopard 1's died to 1 Milan 2 shot. I'm pretty sure. 17, 9. And Blob Enjoyer buying more planes, but we know about the Stingers, don't we? And down it goes. One Stinger did die, but he was replaced by a... in fact, maybe they both died, because this is 2 strength. Well, I don't know. CV's dead as well, it seems. And, yeah, the Rapier FSA making a difference there. New in this patch, Berlin Command now gets the Rapier FSA, because... the Pivad's lost its radar, so they're in need of a long-range AA option. This had been asked for some time, and eventually Eugene relented. So the Blobs are getting picked off here, but this is Blob Enjoyer's tactic. I mean, I got a lot of respect for somebody who calls himself average Blob Enjoyer and just does the exact same blob attack every single game. A lot of respect for that. Maybe when 5th Panzer stops being OP, he'll play something else, but. It's still very respectable, and he is blobbing. And Suojeluskunta, instead of buying... Okay, so he has now started buying heavy tanks, which he does get a few of. He gets the Chieftain Mark 10, and he gets the Meep Abrams. You could call them medium heavies, maybe, because it's not quite an M1A1. So the Blob is making power here, but you see the recoilless rifles, if they get to the corner of the town, they can start hitting things. Just too much reliance on helicopters again and again and again. We see the helicopters and it just doesn't work, man. But yeah, the ATGMs as well are constant. Like these guys are shooting, but because he sold the transports, they're getting counter batteried, so they've both routed, and so they're useless. They should really be dead. I guess he didn't counter battery with both of them, but he's losing all his stuff because he's losing all his arty because he sold his transports and he wasn't moving them, and this guy sold his transports as well, so if he counter batteries that, he'd get it, but he's really trying to get these Milan positions. So Marder's brought out now, and Suojeluskunta, he's having a very tough time here. His infantry has lost a lot of HP. It's lost a lot of ammo, can't be effectively resupplied. He's got to send stuff over here. I can hear a Nighthawk. Here it is, but the Rolands, man, the Rolands are with the Blob. Although one has died. You see the Marders, he's actually left the infantry in them because he's just trying to get up there. And Suojeluskunta has brought his Meeps on 0 vet, so they get shot once and then they're out of commission for like 4 minutes or something. You see that it's losing cohesion, they don't get it back very fast. He's hitting his Jaeger on the edge of the town, but 5th Panzer's just a much stronger div, and we're really seeing that here. I really do think he should have brought these Meeps at 1 vet, but maybe he wanted to keep a CV with them, which would give him 1 vet, and then he still gets the availability. But yeah, there's just not enough stuff here for Suojeluskunta. The mortars did work, right? Look, you see it 2 HP, 4 HP, 7 HP, 6 HP, so they do damage. This guy dropped a bomb, and then he got hit. How on earth did this get over there? So he... What? How did I miss that? So somehow that got back there and killed the... and killed the... So you still get 6 of these as 5th Panzer. They're 200 points now, but you still get 6. But yeah, he killed the arty, and then he just flew all the way over and killed the Gepard. Killed the Roland and hit the Gepard, which meant the Gepard wasn't doing as much damage as it otherwise would do. But Blob, you know, he's getting in here. It's working. It's working. Really wish Suojeluskunta had not sold these transports, because now these are dead. And down goes his arty. And because that was at 1 vet, I'm not sure if he's actually got any more of those. Pretty sure he's bringing those at 1 per card. Buys another Hell Arm, but obviously the Gepard engine damage, it can still keep up. It can still move with them, but it is slower. And you see that, yeah, the Blob is working. Like, he took out all these buildings over time with bombers and so on. And so it means that the Blob can just shoot across the whole town. Sort of how it's done. And yeah, this is 200 points, but it's one of the best fighters in the game because it's got that ripple fire, 260%, 5 HE missile shot at once. So it only looks like 1, but it's firing 2. So it looks like Suojeluskunta is getting pushed out here. We do see Blob bringing in the CV, and he's got 23 minutes to sort this out, which I think he can do quite comfortably, actually, because he's, you know, you see the playbook, right? He just buys, basically, 5th Panzer is an infantry div, and a tank div, and an air div, and an arty div, all in one. So he's got plenty of infantry for the towns, and he's got plenty of guys for the Blob, and that's what it's all about. So that Milan 2's probably gonna... Oh no, he lost visual there. Oh, he's evac in here, but okay, so interesting spot there. Blob Enjoyer now knows that there's no AA here. So he buys another plane. They get a lot of planes as well, and having 4 guys in one building, very bad idea. Very bad idea. Very, very, very bad idea. So we got 6 guys there, and now we've still got 6 guys there, but they've lost a lot of HP. They're all routing and stuff. That bomber, the payload isn't fantastic, but you know it's good enough. Leopard 2A4 up vetted is a lot better than Meep not vetted. So Humvee Toe's being brought up here, and this Blob is probably going to come around here and try and cut this reinforcement maybe. He still needs to deal with this, but he's got plenty of 10-slot infantry. Humvee Toe's firing away there, have managed to stop the Blob. And yeah, so Mr. Enjoyer needs to clean this up and then get over here sharpish. But he's lost his arty because of his silliness. Like, he sold the transports and then he put them next to each other, so the Newport blew him up. And somehow he let a Newport get all the way over here, which is just... that's really not very good. He's bought 2 more Rolands. You see he brings them no-vetted because they've got high base accuracy anyway, 60%. So these guys, like, there's no saving them, basically. They either die where they're stood or they die moving. You know, I'd be tempted to try and get them over here, but yeah. Although these are sort of running in, they might get lore 80'd or something. Like, that's actually a pretty decent building because they can't shoot. Well, you see the Meep Abrams, you know, its cohesion goes down and it just doesn't get back up again. Okay. LOS tool moment there. The mortars have gone silent, and this is a really big problem, right? Because when he comes to claim this town, right, you get 4 of those mortars in a card, and you get 2 of those arty pieces in a card. Because he sold his transports, he lost all his mortars, apart from this, which doesn't have a transport. But I'm pretty sure he can find a card to put it in if he, you know, buys something else, like a Fliegerfaust or something. I'm not sure it can go in a Fugs. And now when he comes to take this town, he can't do the same artillery preparation he did last time, because he doesn't have any arty. So he's got to rely on the force of the Blob. And, okay, so he actually, it seems he wants to come over here, but that's tough, because there's going to be a lot of Humvee Toes and stuff here. I really do think he'd be better off just. I mean, like he's just not left. Like what? He's made no attempt to even go here. Like he. It's very strange to me because I mean he plays a lot more games than me, and he literally only plays one div. So you'd assume that his play on it would just be like perfect, basically. But I guess not. So this Milan 2's probably gonna not hit anything because he's put it in the wrong one. He put it there, really. And he's just stopped that because he's seen this. He's just stopped on there. Oh no, he started it up now. So it looks like the blob's going that way. Or it might be a misdirection attempt. Send the blob this way, get him to buy loads of stuff here, send the blob back over here and attack. Because that's one of the reasons this is so powerful with this div, is because these tanks are quite fast. Like the Marders are 63 and the Leopard 2 72 and all this. So that Milan 2 is probably going to go down. And down it goes. So he buys Rapier FSAs here. Berlin-Com does not get good fighters. It literally gets Harriers, which can't even keep up with this. So it's interesting that he's just keeping this around here, and he's like, oh, there's no AA. That is interesting. I'm interested. And he knows that the enemy fighter, the Harrier, can't really challenge him. All they've got is close range AA, so like even the Rapier is not the radar Rapier, it's the predecessor, so it's got not so great optics, and it's got very low AA range, whereas you compare that to Rome 3, it's like a kilometer more, which is a pretty big deal. So here we go, Blob is now, so yeah, there you go, he's rotating the Blob out now. I'm not sure what's going on there actually. Is he gonna... Will he stay or will he go? And this is why dealing with this is so difficult, because you set up your static defenses and then the enemy moves, which I think is decent gameplay. It's just 5th Panzer's got too much going for it. It's far too powerful. This last patch nerfed it a little bit. They made the Jaguars a bit more expensive, and they nerfed those ridiculous F4Fs, but not enough in my opinion. Should be 2 per card. Still 3 per card. Used to be 4 per card. But generally the slot distribution on 5th Panzer is like the best of any division in the game. You get a really cheap AP to bring all your stuff in the deck creator. The Jaegers, there's too many men in this Jaeger squad. 11 men, doesn't make any sense to me. Is that really how many people are getting out of this Unimog truck? I'm not so sure. Yeah, you see that they're cheaper than the Berlin rifles, for example. Like, there's 65 points for the same number of men. Right, and obviously the rocket launcher's better, and they've got 1 more machine gun, and they've got shock, but it's a big difference. So yeah, I think Jaeger should not be 11 men, and yeah. Although similarly, although these have now got, because you can put any squad in anything, so we just loaded up the Pioneer Flams in here. So there's 10 men in there apparently. But the actual squad that comes in that is like 5, and it should be 6 or 7. But you see that Berlin Command can go toe-to-toe with the big squads. It's generally just like a NATO versus Pact thing. For some reason, all the NATO squads are inflated. Although I believe French squads are big, and that should be their thing. But even mech rifles are 11, and you can't fit 11. 11 in an M113 means that there's no... the driver and the gunner are getting out, basically. So this Milan 2's in a decent spot, and it will probably get a kill here. And because he's not brought recons, the recon's here, so you can't actually see this. So this is actually going to get quite a few shots off. You see he's trying to get... Suojeluskunta's got his own recon here. So the Sonderwagen has security, which means that when it stood still, it gets +1 optics, which means that this would go up to very good. So he's going to put that there and use that as recon as well. And he's going to see all this coming in. But here we go. So this was just a huge redirection attempt. A redirection success. He had the blob over here, pressured over here, and then actually his true intention was to come over here. So that's cool to see. See the radar, the seed going in. That thing's got 40% ECM, but it dies to the first 2 shots anyway, which is pretty typical. And now these Nighthawks are probably going to go down as well. You see, he's actually... Okay, so he evac that because he shot... I thought he would go for the Rome, but okay. That Milan 2 got deleted. And here's the Blob. But the Blob has lost quite a few men. Needs more autocannons and stuff. But that's 2 Nighthawks down, right? Or at least 1 Nighthawk down and 1 repairing. which means that there's not going to be any air support now for Suojeluskunta, and his AA's in the wrong place because he put it here. He's still got the transport, so he could move these. I noticed he repathed these Grenadier Voltigeurs, and it was a really good redirection from average Blob Enjoyer. This is, you know, he's playing the game properly. Like, that's a really cool idea, the fact that you can, you know, feint, essentially. I think that's very cool. Problem with blobbing up your meeps is that they take cohesion damage when... okay, so they were a bit more spread out there by the time that hit. But yeah, one vet means they're not doing much. Like, this is already low cohesion, and it's just going to take ages to go back up. Sorry, no vet. No vet means that. And the Marder 182 Milans get 5 Milans, unlike other IFEs, which tend to get 4. He's keeping up this tornado. I'm surprised, because he's obviously... this doesn't even have rounds, so... I guess he's really worried about air. So, you know, Blob Enjoyer... Oh, okay, so this actually survived from last time. So that's why he was worried, but he still can't get it. And there goes 2 units. And that's more for what the Nighthawk's for. Like, you don't want to be diving the Blob. You want to be getting the guys on the very, very edge of it when they overextend. But, of course, he didn't know where the AA was. He sent the seed out first, but... everything in this game, particularly air, is just dice roll, dice roll, dice roll. So he got unlucky with the seed. It didn't even kill this, like it missed, basically, and then it got blown up by the counter missile, despite having like a high miss chance percentage, but that's just Warno. Warno's a lot about luck. And now you'll notice that he's not got any hell arms left. A hell arm here would be really, really, really useful, wouldn't it? But he's not got any hell arms left. He's still got plenty of these TOW 2 guys. Although I've noticed that just died, and the CV just died as well. So, you know, Blobby's getting in, he's blobbing, and he will not run out of stuff. Like, you'll see he's even got, like, he's got a lot of CVs, actually. I'm surprised he left this Leopard 2 here. I guess he's worried about counterattacks, but that's generally where you... Well, I don't know. I mean, he could move up the Milans and move the Leopard 2, but I guess he's very worried about counterattacks. But you see how many points were put in over here? 1, 2, 3, 4 Humvee tows, 2 FSAs, 5 Humvee tows actually, and all these Humvee tows could be over here, but he's not moved them. And Blob, yeah, his infantry's died, which means he's got to get some more infantry, but he just keeps buying CVs for some reason. He's got a lot of CVs. He's got a lot of CVs over here. He's got 5 CVs on the map. So he really, really wants CVs. And you see the lack of arty really playing its part here, because if he had those mortars from before, if he hadn't wasted those, he could be hitting all this because it's all very clumped up, and the 155s could be hitting it. I really do think he should have brought the Lars. And is that... Okay, so it was just going for the 2A4, which is a good kill. I'm surprised it wasn't going for the CV, but I think the 2A4 was the right kill. And you see he's evacing it after 1 shot, which means it reloads in 30 seconds, because it's 60 seconds for the full volley. And generally, LGBTs just reload too quickly. So any deck with them is just immediately better. So the Meeps, you see they're still on low cohesion from that fight before. That's the power of 0 vet, the lack of power of 0 vet. And yeah, Blob, he's trying to get in over here, but the recoilless rifles can really reach out and punch back. No Lore 80 here is a big shame, but he's just bringing over the recoilless rifles. He does need a supply for them. He's run out of proper tanks, so he's bringing the 30Bs. He's trying to get supply in there with helicopters. I'm not sure how useful that's going to be with the Rolands. I think they're just going to die. But you see, yeah, he's... well, I mean, he needs to go here, really, but generally it's working. You see these are shooting down the road. The Lost Tool says they can, but they cannot, but that's a Lost Tool for you. Doesn't work properly. So... yeah, we're seeing some stuff going on here, and the AMX-30s can't really cope with the Blob, but he's doing a really good job of like pulling the Blob back and getting its health back and stuff. Although I've noticed he's not got any supply on the field. There's a couple here, like he could sell these. I know he brought like a bunch of supply here that all died at the start. It looks like he does still have some left, and yeah, just using the Nighthawk to just pick off those units at the front, playing that delay in action. Blob's got 11 minutes to sort this out now. I mean, he made progress in that push, but he just couldn't finish it. And here we go, another Newport shot slung in there. And you see these bees, they can't really fight this. They're decent against the infantry, and because they got heat rounds, they will always deal at least 1 damage to enemy armor, but they just don't have the armor. or the pen really. So they usually you got to hit them 10 times if you want to take them out. That's a proper tank. Yeah. So okay. So he's actually going to try over here, but Suojeluskunta didn't move any of his zombies. Oh no, he had 5 here before, and he moved these 2, which are now being moved back. So yeah, Blob. He's trying to use the Blob. I think it's good gameplay to maneuver. I think maneuver warfare is very good. I think the game needs more of it. If Recon was better, you'd see a bit more of it. Yeah, the toes. He can't punish the toes, right? If he had that artillery, he could be hitting these positions, but he doesn't. Also, there's basically when they broke the Dragon 1 all those months ago, they broke all infantry AT. They just made like, so this deals 258 suppression. It's like 30-point unit will just stun any tank in the game regardless of veterancy. It's kind of dumb. And the NATO, like the toes have 3. It's 300 points to stun from what I remember. 300 points of suppression, so that will always stun, whereas the packed ones, which we don't see here, don't have that. So that's another reason why the TOW 2 is so good. It's not just the pen, it's the fact that it will immediately rout whatever it hits, essentially. Hopefully we see it hit something. Oh, okay. So the Blob is slowly making progress. Another plane purchased. Lots of planes purchased this game for Blob Enjoyer, and they just haven't paid off at all. Especially those one-way trips at the start, they really just slowed him down. Noob Hawk's still going, he's got 1 Noob Hawk left. And Suojeluskunta. Oh! Not sure what's going on there. That must have been a misclick. Like, what is going on there? Oh no, he's actually attacking. Okay, cool. So he knows a Blob's over here. And he's got the Noob Hawk to try and take out the 2A3. There's no AA here because the AA is with the Blob. And the fighter's not up. And so he's not even going to evac this. He's going to leave it in. Pop. Gets a 2A3 command. Sees the Gepard. Oh, now oh, he's so dead, man. He's just flying right over those Rolands. Not going to be seeing this guy again. See ya, kid. That's a big shame. But he got the 1A5. I'm not sure that was with the Noob Hawk. It might be one of these. So this is a cool counterattack. I thought he just messed up and accidentally right-clicked that building. And yeah, the Blob over here is making good progress, just taking out the ATGMs one at a time. The cluster hasn't actually dropped its bombs yet. Roland 3 taken out there, but there's no more Noob Hawks. Grenadier Voltigeurs purchased. These guys can really reach out and smack people with their 750 meter range rocket launcher. The Rapier's finally, like, this one never fired, but this one fired 4, so I guess because of buildings in the way or something. You see the smoke coming in here from these French 81mm. Meeps in front, infantry behind. It's an interesting strategy because, of course, you'll see that even the weakest AT can really, yeah, just rout any tank. 2-vet tank, whatever. 1-vet tank. I'm pretty sure it's a guaranteed stun, but not a guaranteed rout. You see it's, or at least the way it works is once you pass 250, you have a chance to stun. And sometimes it stuns and sometimes it doesn't, from what I remember. But you see that, anyway, there's a lot here, and so it doesn't matter that there's a couple guys with rocket launchers. They're getting the kills. Although, you know, they're sort of getting lit up by these Milan-2s now. So he's buying some time. Cluster coming in from the side. Oh, this is going to be juicy. 5 cluster bombs. Probably going to get some tanks there. Oh, he misses. He went for the wrong part of the smoke. So that's the power of the smoke misdirection. Over here, Leopard 1 does get in, but is immediately going to die. No smoke here because he lost his arty. Although Finn doesn't have an A... oh, okay, he just surrenders. He realizes he's had it. There was actually a CV back here. So really good game from both players. Suojeluskunta, sadly this is bugged, doesn't show you his stats. And Blob Enjoy literally only plays 1 div. So he's played 223 ranked games as 5th Panzer this patch. Or since they reset the ladder. And I've got something I really want to show you. If you can just hang back a couple seconds here from average Blob Enjoyer. The reason I wanted to cover this game is because this man said something very, very funny in the... here we go. So he said... Nice gameplay, just put 10 recoilless rifles into one city, 10 recoilless rifles in the other city, and you're golden immediately after this game ended. And so just gonna say...
Me? Never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Okay, I'm not sure what that means. And then I hit him with the nice gameplay, pick the same division 298 times in a row. I'm pretty proud of that. Haha, I got him. But yeah, both players better than me. I mean, they both play more than me, so they're better. And they only play one div each, so they're better. But yeah, really, really interesting game there. I hope you learn a lot. I do hope for some new maps, but yeah, I guess we're just going to see Two Lakes till the end of time, and they make it worse every patch. So yeah, I'll see you around.